Good afternoon, everyone. If you didn't notice on your way in, the power is out all across campus here at Carleton University. Amazingly, our colleagues in media production services, someone had a generator at home, ran home and got it. So if the lights flicker on every now and then, it's power potentially being restored, but we're going to stay on the generator power now that it's all hooked up. Welcome to Carleton, Canada's original journalism school. My name is Alan Thompson. I'm the program head in journalism and the co-director of the School of Journalism and Communication. We don't hold events for every project that we announce, but you will come to gather, I think, why this one is so special, exceedingly so for a number of reasons. This event will mark two important developments: the renewal and expansion of the CBC North Internship for Carleton Journalism students, and the launch of a Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign to bolster the McGuire Journalism Internship Travel Fund. You will hear about both of those things this afternoon. First, I would like to invite Carleton's Provost and Vice President Academic, Dr. Pauline Rankin, to bring some words of welcome.
Thanks, Alan, and good afternoon, everyone. It does speak to the power of this school that you managed to have the only power on campus. So I congratulate you, and Alan is nothing if not resourceful, so it wouldn't happen anywhere else, I suspect. But it's my real honor this afternoon to welcome you to this very meaningful event. And on behalf of Carleton, I want to extend my gratitude to all of you for attending today. And before we proceed, I want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the land that has been cared for, protected, and loved by Indigenous peoples for generations. Carleton University is situated on the traditional unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe. This acknowledgement runs deeper than words, as it reminds us that we are members of a diverse community, and that many of us are guests on this territory and must honor the living presence and continued stewardship of the Algonquin Nation on these lands. It is also necessary that we recognize the role that Carleton, and indeed many other institutions, have played in colonialism, and remember that there is still much work to be done with respect to reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. As many of you know, Carleton recently launched the Certificate in Journalism in Indigenous Communities, a 10-month program that combines remote learning with in-person intensives, a 2-week internship, mentorship, and wraparound academic and cultural support. The program allows students to remain rooted in their communities and gather as a group periodically for hands-on training and land-based learning, with accommodation, travel, and food costs covered. The successful launch of this program marks a significant milestone in Carleton's efforts to pursue conciliation with Indigenous peoples through meaningful action, and I want to thank and congratulate the School of Journalism and Communication for bringing this vision to life. This afternoon, though, represents another milestone, and on behalf of Carleton, I want to express deep gratitude to CBC for its enduring partnership with the School of Journalism and Communication. In particular, CBC North Internship is unique to Carleton and affords students really an extraordinary opportunity. It was remarkable when they set up the very first paid internship, and it's remarkable again today to see that partnership renewed. I also want to take a moment to honor Mary McGuire. Mary taught journalism at Carleton for 31 years. I think I slightly have you beat, but it's a long time. Following a decade working for CBC, her academic contributions were transformative. She was part of a generation of instructors who took over from the founders of this school and transformed and modernized the curriculum, not just in radio, but also by leading the transition to the digital age. Mary's establishment of the Journalism Internship Travel Fund in tandem with the paid internship for Carleton students at CBC North, was visionary. Together, these initiatives have enabled students to access unique opportunities with CBC in the North. The magnitude of the opportunities has created for students is truly inspiring. So on behalf of Carleton Mary, I thank you for your enduring dedication to the university and to our students. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to Alan.
Thanks, Pauline. Thanks for your support on this project and so many others. It's really appreciated. And I'd also like to acknowledge the support of my dean, Professor Brenda O'Neill. It took Brenda about 30 seconds to add her signature to the agreement to renew the CBC North internships. Brenda, I thank you for all that you do. As your host, let me take you through the logistics for today's event. In a moment, we will hear from several representatives of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. I think the importance that CBC attaches to this project is demonstrated by the fact that CBC President Marie-Philippe Bouchard is joining us here today. She's also joined by Brody Fenlon, General Manager and Editor-in-Chief of CBC News. We will also hear by video from Marie Wilson, a longtime CBC veteran, Commissioner of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and a friend of Mary McGuire's. And Marie has played a role behind the scenes in just about everything we're going to talk about today. We are also honored to have with us today His Excellency, Mr. Whit Fraser, the spouse of Governor General Mary Simon. Whit is also a longtime CBC veteran in the North and on Parliament Hill, where he became one of Mary's close friends. Your Excellency, I'm a fan. When I was a journalism student at Carleton in the 1980s, you were the star in the CBC orbit, and I really did watch everything you did and thought, wow, I wish I could do that. So it's great to see you here today, and we are going to hear from you in a few moments as well. By video, we're going to hear from the most recent Carleton graduate to take up the CBC North Internship, Tamara Merritt. We'll also watch a video that we recorded a few days ago with Mary. Mary wanted to record something in advance, but we are honored that she is also with us today. And speaking of recording videos, you will notice we have set up over in the corner of this room our own little speaker's corner. It's running on batteries, and we would very much encourage everyone to pop in there at some point during the event and share a message that you would like us to pass on to Mary. So as I mentioned, we have two special guests with us in person from the CBC. Marie-Philippe Bouchard was appointed President and CEO of CBC Radio-Canada in 2024. A member of the Quebec Bar since 1985, she joined CBC Radio-Canada in the Law Department in 1987, held a variety of senior executive positions until she became the President and CEO of TV5, where she spent close to a decade before returning to take the helm at CBC. Marie-Philippe, let me thank you not only for your support for this project, but for the fact that you found the time, made the time to meet with Mary face-to-face in person to talk about this project. And so I'd like to ask you to come up and say a few words.
Well, good afternoon. Merci, bonjour. Thank you very much, Alan, for that introduction. I am very pleased to be here with you today to announce the extension of the CBC North Internship program with Carleton University for another 5 years, bringing it to 2030. With this extension, we've also expanded the internship period from 2 to 4 months. It is because of Mary McGuire's vision, and thanks to the Mary McGuire Journalism Internship Travel Fund, that this internship program has come to life. This fund and the internship are a lasting measure of recognition of the role the North has played for Mary personally and professionally, and is a formidable way to pay it forward that Mary has created. The Mary McGuire Journalism Internship Travel Fund and the CBC North Internship honor three of Mary's big loves: the North, journalism, and youth, and are a testament of Mary's generosity to her profession and to the next generation of journalists. Journalism internships like this one are essential. They help forge strong journalistic skills, which are needed now more than ever, given today's environment of polarization, misinformation, and disinformation. It gives interns a unique opportunity to live and work in the North and to gain valuable skills, an experience that helps inform their journalism, can shape the course of their career, and impact them personally as it did for Mary. Thank you, Mary, for your vital role in establishing the CBC North Internship and for the positive impact your work has had and will continue to have on the next generation of Canadian journalists. I now invite General Manager and Editor-in-Chief of CBC News, Brodie Fenlon, to say a few words on the importance of local reporting in the North. Brodie's remarks will be followed by a video message from Marie Wilson, a member of the Board of Directors of CBC Radio-Canada, and more importantly, a friend, a former colleague in the North of Mary McGuire. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, journalism is and always has been a team sport. So hats off to the media production team for figuring out how to deal with this power outage. It's really impressive. Well done. So as you've heard, CBC North plays a critical role in the lives of so many Northerners. Through our programming, we are a lifeline. For some communities, a vital link to others in the North, and importantly to the rest of us here in the South. Our Northern Territories are remarkable places. They can make you feel small and humble and fill you with awe all at the same time. And you really cannot understand Canada until you've been there. The territories change what you think you know about the natural world, about living on and being one with the land, the importance of First languages, the vitality and resiliency of First Nations and Inuit. They are places of remarkable innovation and transformation, of increasing immigration. They are on the front lines of climate change impacts. There are so many stories waiting to be told. And it's a real pleasure to meet Mary McGuire. This travel fund makes it easier for young journalists to get there, live there, and work there, so they can see firsthand what local journalism means to Canada's remote communities, and to better understand the unique realities of life in the North. And it's unlike any other internship, by the way, and I know there are some students here, so now I'm going to plug the internship. Mervyn Brass is my colleague. He runs CBC North. He put it this way: working in the North is similar to being a foreign correspondent if you come from the South. Working in the North puts you in communities where sometimes English is barely spoken. You're working in a different culture, and you need to learn how to build trusting relationships in a matter of hours. That's another reason why the North is a great training ground for journalists. At CBC, we've expanded our local service across the country because there has never been a more important time for local boots-on-the-ground reporting in communities. And we want to tell these stories for the people who live in those communities, but importantly also for the rest of Canada. Because that's the beautiful thing about working for the public broadcaster. We can elevate important local stories to national audiences. So, we need reporters who can connect with people, who bring genuine curiosity to these communities, who can get to the bottom of issues and seek accountability. The Mary McGuire Fund provides a perfect opportunity for an ambitious Carleton student to begin a journalism career at CBC and ideally a career in the North. I'm delighted about this renewed commitment to the travel fund and the internship. Congratulations to everyone here.
Thank you, Marie-Philippe, Brody. And through you, let me thank everyone at the CBC for the remarkable engagement with this project. Can I also send my thanks to the head of CBC North, Mervyn Brass, who's been an exceptional partner in this project every step of the way. And from conversations with Mervyn, I know it is also crucial to Mervyn and to the CBC to try to create more employment opportunities for Indigenous journalists to take up careers in the North and indeed across the country. To that end, as the Provost mentioned, Carleton has just successfully launched an innovative program led by Professor Duncan McHugh called the Certificate in Journalism in Indigenous Communities. A bit like Mary's travel fund, this certificate program is designed to break down barriers. In this case, the range of barriers that have so far stood in the way of Indigenous students who might otherwise study journalism. So very soon, we will have graduates of that certificate program who will be eager for internship and employment opportunities with the CBC. As you will have gathered by now, Mary has a lot of friends across the country, here in Ottawa, former colleagues, at least one or two generations of former students. Among those friends is a man who defines what it means to report from Canada's north. These days, we call him Your Excellency. If I could ask His Excellency, Mr. Whit Fraser, to come and join us for a few minutes.
Look, I've had to get used to a lot of things in my life. This excellency stuff is a tough one. Thank you very much. Just before I came up, Brody said, Whit, for old time's sake, you got a minute 40. You know that nearly all of the presentations I do, I realize right at the beginning, and I always admit, I'm here because I married well. Today, I know I'm here because I carried a microphone. In this old heart and in this old head is a reporter. Always was, always will be. And very early in those days in Frobisher Bay in, say, 1967, I learned quickly, because we were always by ourselves, I learned quickly to ask the same question every day, and sometimes a dozen times a day. What's the story? This is a story. This is doing remarkable things for young students and journalists. It's doing remarkable things for the CBC itself. It's doing remarkable things for Carleton. Altogether, it's a beautiful story. But my lead is Mary McGuire. Just to you, lovely lady, thank you for a lifetime of commitment, honesty, hard work, focus, all of those things that make a reporter. Thank you, because in your sweet head and heart, you are also a reporter, and I love you for it.
Okay, the first of several hard acts to follow. On a screen over in the corner, had it not been for the power outage, you would have seen pictures of 5 Carleton Journalism graduates who have already benefited from the CBC North Internship and the travel fund that Mary established. Marel Jamal was the first, taking up a virtual internship during the pandemic. She was followed by Rose Dannon, who went to Yellowknife, Lillian Fridfinson and Liam Baker to Whitehorse, and most recently, Carleton MJ grad Tamara Merritt, who moved to Yellowknife last summer and remains in the North, as you will see from this video testimonial.
This internship has been a really important step in my journalism career. Since starting at the CBC in June, I've been able to cover a variety of different topics, like a submersible water turbine that will power small communities, and to things like the NWT's justice system. This type of variety and opportunity has allowed me to grow in my skills as a young journalist. It's also taught me the importance of local journalism and how it connects people and communities together. More importantly, though, this internship has allowed me to explore Canada's North. It's a place I fully never really understood until I moved here myself. And I believe that every single Canadian should come to the North at least once in their life. And for journalists, I can speak from experience that Mary McGuire's internship is the perfect way to do so.
Thank you, Tamara. They were doing stand-up work that day, so it was perfect timing to get her in front of a camera. I said, all that matters most, I want to see the North. I want the North behind you. Mary and I talked a lot about this event in advance, and we thought Mary's health hasn't been great, and it's a lot of effort to do these things. And so we thought together it might be a really good idea to record a video so that we could stop and start and try again and give Mary a chance to say what she really wants to say today. So that video was produced by Leo Solano, who's a digital media expert in the Office of the Dean. He did a really extensive interview with Mary and pulled together a few minutes that I think really ties together what today is all about. So I'll leave way for this video.
I think as Canadians, we all carry with us a sense that we live in a northern country, and we all have an affinity for the Arctic and the North. But very few Canadians actually get to see it and live there and experience it. And so it gave me a sense of Canada that I never had. I loved working with students. It was actually a privilege that I got to work for 30 years with young people who liked to challenge things that I was saying, show me what they were learning, who inspired me every day, who just kept me sharp and taught me a lot about what their news habits were, what their perceptions about journalism were, what kind of journalists they wanted to be. I think it was just a delight and a treat. It was an honor. In 2018, when cancer forced me to give up this job I loved so much, I was, like all people are with a diagnosis like that, forced to think about what mattered most and how I might give back to the things and people that mattered most to me in my life. I was very aware, having worked at Carleton for 30 years, that one of the most important things students could do to launch their career was do internships in newsrooms across the country. But I was also aware that they could almost never do an internship in the North, because the cost of housing and travel was so high, is a barrier to students on limited budgets. So I wondered, could I create a fund that would provide some money so that students could do internships in the North and get the experience I had launching a journalistic career in a place that was so new, so different, that would open their eyes to the country and give them story ideas they never imagined they could even have. And then it was my good friend, former CBC North colleague, Marie Wilson, who encouraged me to think even bigger, to reach even higher, and to try to persuade the CBC to provide a paid internship in the North every summer for one of our students in conjunction with the fund that was being set up in my name. And with her help, I managed to do that, and it was just a thrill for me to be able to put all that together in 2020. And I wanted to do something unique and different that would actually meet a need I saw, having been there all those years, having helped students organize internships. But I knew the barrier to doing internships in the North was real, and I wanted to do something that would remove that or lower that barrier and make it possible for students to go to the North. And ideally work for CBC, and we were able to make that happen. And, you know, my son had some wise words for me back when I was talking about this in the early days. He said, why don't you find a project that would honor the way you lived your life and tie and connect the dots of your life? And I think this did that so well. When I set up this fund all those years ago, with much help, got the CBC to agree to this partnership that allowed for a paid internship in the North. I want to be sure that, you know, in the beginning, my friend Marie, as I said, helped get this set up initially, but I'd also like to say that the former director of the School of Journalism, Susan Harada, did an awful lot of work to help get the pieces in place to get this partnership set up 5 years ago. And the current director of the school, Alan Thompson, has also been, you know, incredibly enthusiastic and supportive of getting it renewed. And I'm just so grateful to all of them for making this little dream of mine come true and keep going. When Paul Dewar, who was a former MP and the son of the former mayor of Ottawa, was dying of brain cancer a few years ago, he gave an interview in which he said, cancer is in some ways was a gift. I don't actually see cancer as a gift, but I do know that cancer has brought me gifts because it has forced me to look at what's important in my life, what do I want to spend my time on. It has allowed me to cultivate and nurture friendships that were sometimes just, I didn't have time necessarily for because I was so busy working or doing all the things that life requires. But it has also led former students of mine, former colleagues of mine, people I work with, to send me notes or indicate in various ways what I meant to them and how I changed their lives. What a gift.
Mary, you're a hard act to follow. And I mean that in every possible sense. Your dedication to Carleton's journalism program spans decades, beginning when you were a star student in the Bachelor of Journalism, graduating in 1979. Some of your classmates are here today. After more than a decade as a professional journalist, you joined the faculty in 1990, serving full-time for close to 31 years. As the provost mentioned, you really were part of that second generation of professors in the school. You took over from the old men who founded the place and dragged us forward, particularly not just in the way we taught radio, but actually helping us figure out, believe it or not, there was a time when we had to figure out the internet. And Mary was a world expert on how journalists can best make use of the internet to do their jobs. Mary, we need you now to help us figure out artificial intelligence. Trust me. There are a number of us in this room who joined the School of Journalism as faculty members while you were still here. teaching. And let me just attest to your generosity in helping me and many others to learn the ropes, right down to sharing course material and lesson planning and helping us to figure out what to do in the classroom. Because you were the master. It was a master class in how to engage with students. During her time here, Mary taught more than 1,000 students and received multiple teaching awards. Many of those students were inspired to make their careers in the North. Our colleague Kanina Holmes, for example, turned that love of the Yukon into an innovative program called Stories North that took students from Carleton north of 60. And Kanina also recently was working at CBC North in White House. There's that connection. Mary's deep connection to the North stayed with her over the years and was formalized in what will be one of Mary's most important legacies, the creation of a travel fund dedicated to students. I want to also mention, as Mary did, the work of my predecessor, Susan Harada, in establishing that fund. I wasn't involved in that process, but I can imagine it was no small feat to convince the CBC to agree to a paid internship fund and then to navigate creating the travel fund. Mary was the driving force behind the creation of that fund in 2020. And as you've heard, it's to recognize the importance of the North to Canada, the importance of local journalism there. And it's not just that if you get a paid position there, you can make it to the North. There are so many barriers, and the cost of travel and the cost of accommodation is one of them. And Mary recognized that and created a fund to deal with it. Part of the reason of the timing for this event was to bring to your attention a fundraising campaign that we've launched to bolster the travel fund, which will now be called upon even more to provide more support to Carleton students heading north. In recent years, Mary has continued to lead, even after leaving Carleton. She has continued to exercise her journalistic muscles and again share her personal experiences, this time reflecting on her journey through another new territory, cancer. In one searing editorial, Mary challenged the common rhetoric and tropes around cancer, arguing that words matter. Drawing on her own experience, she stressed that it's deeply unfair to suggest that those unlucky enough to get cancer can control the disease with their character, as if those who are taken by cancer somehow didn't fight hard enough. Mary's advice is that instead of telling people to think positively, we should ask those with cancer how they feel that day, and then just listen. Mary's resilience deeply inspired those around her, among them many former students. Matthew Pearson, a former student who also became a faculty colleague, wrote a touching tribute in Maclean's magazine. Matthew credited Mary with sparking his infectious love of radio, teaching him not just the words on a page, but how those words sounded when they were read aloud. Matthew noted that Mary's guidance never wavered, even as she navigated grueling treatments. In closing his tribute, Matthew encapsulated the feelings of many when he wrote, "Thank you, Mary, for your gift of wisdom, your infectious love of radio, and your enduring dedication to our students." Matthew concluded, "I carry you in my headphones, in my classroom, and in my heart." Mary's legacy is defined by her determination to push the boundaries of journalism and to help her students create a better world. She taught us how to tell a powerful story, whether across the Arctic tundra or across the digital landscape, and now through her own honesty, how to face the hardest truths. Mary, you have somehow managed to span the generations, past, present, and future. Your work here at Carleton really did change the lives of generations of students, many of whom populate the journalism landscape today. And now, through your travel fund, you will continue to change the lives of future generations, even those who will never have the good fortune to meet you. Mary, all we can say now is thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you have done and for what will continue to be done in your name. At a time when so much was happening in your life, you had the fortitude, the vision, and the grace to think of us and our students. Now, Mary, I'd like you to come up here so that everyone in the room can join me in saying thank you.
Alan knows I'm a weeper. We did the video so I wouldn't stand up here and cry. It's really hard not to cry after all those kind words. I just don't have the words to say how honored and humbled I am by all the kind things that have been said about me today. It's amazing. What a gift, another gift, yeah. I am so full of thanks to all of you and all of my friends afar who have supported this project too. And I'm thankful, I want to say I'm really thankful for the CBC, that the CBC lives on. And I hope that it continues to live on for a long time to come so that this legacy project can continue to. I love the CBC. And I'm really excited about Duncan McHugh's new, wherever he is, I don't know if he's here, Duncan's new course too, because just the idea that graduates from his program will soon be eligible for these internships is fantastic. I won't keep you long. You've heard enough about me and from me, but I'll just say, an award-winning journalist that I used to quote when I was teaching said some version of this: a career in journalism is a license to learn and explore every day of your life. It's a passport to new worlds, and what could be better than making a living like that? And I think many of us have been journalists in our time, or still are, and I think we all know that. And those of us who were privileged enough to be journalism educators, as I was, always wanted to communicate that to our students too. And that I was able to start my journalism career in the North and explore that whole world and meet those remarkable people is something I've carried with me through life. And that I can continue somehow to share that gift with many more students into the future, thanks to all the help here, the work and support of the CBC, the support of all my friends, family, colleagues, former students, and others, warms my teacher's heart, I just want to say. Thank you for all your generosity and your willingness to help more young people explore Canada's North and take lessons about the North and its people through their lives and their careers for years to come. Thank you.
So we do have over in the corner a camera set up that's going to give everyone an opportunity to record a message for Mary. Also, in my haste, I'm sorry, this is my fault, we did skip past a video that Marie Wilson had prepared, some words for Mary. So if it's possible to cue that up and run it. When that finishes, we will truly be done, and we have some coffee and snacks over here, and feel free to hang around and chat with each other and with Mary. Thanks again, everyone.
Mary McGuire. When I think of you, I can't help but think back to when we were both cub reporters, very new to the profession and very new to where we were living. You in Whitehorse and me in Yellowknife. And I think about the times back then, what it was like, all, of course, before internet, even before computers. We were very isolated from the rest of the service. And I remember one of the earliest conversations I had with you, both of us marveling about how did we land such great jobs? How did we land in this part of Canada, within Canada, that felt like somehow we were both foreign correspondents? It was a time where we were really set up to trust ourselves and rely on each other. And a huge part of that was exchanging and sharing. I remember swapping stories with you. I remember swapping information, names, contacts. And I remember your personal kindness, the first time I ever got to go to the Yukon and meet you there face to face. What I'm thinking about now is how, in a way, that time set the stage for the whole career path that you've been on, because it's been one based on generosity. You realized the extraordinary gift of being where you were, and you realized the extraordinary gift of the profession we were in, where we got to talk to amazing people, learn incredible things, and then pay it forward, spread it out, share it through the radio airways as it was back then, but also through all the tools of journalism that have evolved over the time since then. And then you moved on, you moved south, and you contributed to a much wider network through CBC Network Services, and then on to a journalism school. And what were you doing there? You were gifting it forward again. You were investing in this next generation and several next generations of journalists to help them realize both the beauty but also the incredible importance of our journalistic work and the profession they were in, but also to realize that responsibility to pay it forward, to gift it forward. Here you are now, and I'm thinking about you now, and this incredible fund that you have established. It's like one more piece of the Mary McGuire generosity story. Mary McGuire, this fund is fantastic. I remember being so inspired when you first told me about it, and so honored that you allowed me to take it forward to CBC's attention in hopes that we would be able to get it operational in Northern Canada, and it's proven a great success. So today, I just want to say to you, my friend, thank you so much for all that you have done, for your friendship, for your great trust in me. Mary McGuire, you are a wonder.